In today's class, we will be learning about some internet terms. These terms are frequently used and are an integral part of internet. And these terms are protocol, IP and TCP, IP address, www, HTTP and HTTPS, email, FTP, website, web servers, web browsers, search engine, URL, and domain name. The first one is protocol. In general terms, what do you mean by protocol? It's usually a kind of set norms or a specific expected behavior at some specific space. If you are working in a corporate house, then you are expected to behave in a formal way. That is the protocol of that place, right? But when it comes to internet, its definition is a bit different. It's an agreed upon format for transmitting data between two devices. This protocol determines the type of error checking to be used, and if there is any kind of error, and if there is error, then how to rectify it, in which category it falls. The data compression method, suppose you want to send an image to your friend, then it will be up to protocol to decide that in which form it want to send. Now, if this protocol, it's actually protocol's responsibility. If it sends data, then yes, it has to give the signal that yes, I have sent the data. And in the same way, if it receives the data, then again it has to give a signal that I have received the data. Now, but from user's point of view, users mean you, me, who use the internet. Only one thing should be noted, that all the protocols that are necessary for the internet, they are properly installed in your laptop, or your personal computer or smartphone, anything through which you are accessing the internet. And yes, this protocol should support your system too, your web browser or any search engine that you are using, because let's take an example. There is file transfer protocol FTP that is used for the data transfer. If it does not support your system, then of course you won't be able to download any file or upload any file. That's why these protocols are important, and yes, they must support your system. Now, IP and TCP, that is Internet Protocol and the Transmission Control Protocol. IP specifies the format of packets. Packets are called the datagrams too, and the addressing scheme. IP, works as a postman in this whole system. It allows you to address a package and drop it in the system, but there is no direct link between you and the receiver. But this link is established by the TCP, that is Transmission Control Protocol. It establishes a virtual connection between a destination and a source to host, so that they can send the messages and data back and forth for a period of time. But usually, this TCP IP, they are called or written side by side. Why is that? Because it is not two different protocols, but it's a suite, that is Transmission Control Protocol over Internet Protocol. This is a suite which has so many protocols in it, which are used in internet. This TCP IP meets this de facto standards, and this other protocols which are included in this suite are HTTP, HTTPS, UDP, SMTP, FTP, SNMP, Telnet, and so many others. The protocols included in TCP IP suite are not limited to the list that you are witnessing on the screen. There are so many others too. Now, what is the role of TCP IP when you are working on internet? What they do? Why they are so much important? Now, suppose you want to open a website. Now we will define the role of TCP IP in that process. Now you want to open a website or a web page. What you will do? You will type that website's name or address or web page in the URL, right? And then you will enter. Then it will be this another protocol named HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and it's its job, okay? The thing that is doing its HTTP's job. It will receive your request. It will send your request to the web server of that particular website, okay? It will send your request to the web server, and in response to your request, that web server will send an HTML file to its client. Client means you and me, who who actually want that website on our screen. Okay, and this web server will use HTTP protocol to do it. Now this HTTP program layer will ask the TCP layer to set up the link between that web server and our laptop. Now this TCP stack will divide the file into different packets. Suppose this HTTP file is of 10 MB, okay? Then this TCP will divide this file into 5 packets, 6 packets, 7 packets. It's up to its choice, its own choice, okay? And then it will, suppose it has decided that it will send this file into 5 different packets, okay? 5 different packets. And then it will forward these files individually to the IP. Here comes our postman's work, that is IP. This IP will send this file to the decided destination, and at the decided destination, the TCP at that place will receive those files. Now, this TCP at the destination will send the signal that yes, I have received all the files. But if it has not received all the files in the same order, okay, in the same order, then yes, it will signal that I have not received the second number file or third number file, and the TCP at source will send those files again. So until this TCP at the destination receives all the files in the same order, this process will go on. And ultimately, when this process finishes, when TCP at destination receives all the files in the same order, you will get your website on your screen. Now, this is the work of TCP/IP, and that's why they are so much important. And yes, this TCP/IP works that way in case of other protocols too. I mean, if you want to upload or download any file, that FTP is used, okay? And in terms and if you want to send any mail or receive any mail, then there is SMTP that is used, SMTP protocol, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. IP address. What is this IP address? Your house has a particular address, right? So, personal device, that is computer or smartphone, anything that is attached to the internet, it has its own address too. It is a numerical label assigned to each device participating in a computer network that uses internet protocol. Okay, so if you are using your smartphone for internet, yes, it has its own IP address. If your printer that is used to print any file from internet, then yes, it will have its temporary IP address too. It is a name that indicates what we seek. It's an address that indicates where it is. It's a route that indicates how to go there. The principal functions of the IP addresses are just two, that is host or network interface identification and the location addressing. Now, the designers of this IP internet protocol defined the IP address as a 32-bit number, and it was known as Internet Protocol version 4, IPv4. But as slowly and gradually, not slowly and gradually, but in a dramatic way, in those early years, internet's use were dramatically increased. When this www was, everyone can use this www. So everyone started using internet, and there were very limited IP addresses. So people thought that before we get our own personal device to use internet, these IP addresses might stop existing. So that's why a new version of IP, IPv6, using 128 bits for address, was introduced in 1995, and its deployment has been going on since mid-2000s. So by the way, there is no scarcity of IP addresses for your information. These IP addresses are actually binary number. They are stored in form of binary number in your device, but they are displayed in this kind of numbers that we understand. Okay, the first one is for the IPv4, the second one is for IPv6. That way, these IP addresses are returned, at least for us. You can check your own IP address by typing my IP address on any of the search engine. You will know your IP address. It's so easy. Now, who assigns this IP address? Who has this authority? Well, there is globally authorized Internet Assigned in Number Authority, that is IANA, which issues which actually delegates the 5 regional internet registers, that is IRR, to allocate the IP addresses blocks. IP addresses blocks means kind of 50 or 100 IP addresses in one block, and that block is given to local internet registries, and they will issue us the IP address. And by the way, this process is quite automatic. You don't have to go there and register for IP address. It's not like that. It's automatic process. I mean, after all, you are working on internet, it should be automatic. Now, World Wide Web. It is a system of interlinked hypertext documents that are accessed through internet. With the help of web browser, you can view the web pages which has the text, images, videos, and other multimedia, and you can navigate between them. Let's witness a website for that. Here, this is the website of Indian Railways Passenger Reservation Enquiry. Here are the different hyperlinks through which you can navigate. Now you can go to seat availability 2 from this, that way. This is due to this www. Now, but one thing must be noted, that this internet and www are not synonyms. They are not, equal to each other. They are altogether different, because internet is a global system. Okay, at any place on the world you can have the access to the internet. But this www, World Wide Web, is just a part of internet. It is one of the services transferred over these networks. Now, there are other services that internet provide too. Suppose you want to upgrade any of your software or application, then do you think you will use this www? You will go to that particular application sites? No. That upgradation will be done automatically. You don't have to open any kind of web page. So that is the other work of internet. So that clearly proves that internet is not equal to www. Now, HTTP. Like I have said before, this is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which defines how messages are formatted and transmitted. That means the web page or website that is in front of your screen, in whichever way that is due to HTTP, and the actions that web servers and browsers should take in response to various requests of ours. We have responded that with request due to HTTP. We have learned about that in that TCP/IP model, right? What you have to do is you just have to type your website's address in the URL, and you will have your website or web page. Now, this HTTP functions on the request response protocol. As you have seen that this HTTP sends a request to the web server, and web server responds to that request and sends us the website or web page. Now, HTTPS. Why this extra S? That is for security, by the way. As standard HTTP is layered with this SSL/TLS protocol, which makes the security capability of SSL or TSL including in this HTTPS. This is due to because over the period of time, as the internet has progressed, there are the questions of the cyber security. There are the data thefts, wiretapping, man-in-the-middle attacks, and that kind of cases. But because of this HTTPS, you have got the extra additional security. So when you are accessing to your payment gateway, your password or usernames are not stolen, right? Because of this extra securities, because of this SSL/TLS protocol, which is now added into HTTP 2. Now, the sites which are secure, we will witness them. First of all, the Google. Next one is Facebook, as you can see. Twitter. Now, at least one thing that you know, that your social media is quite safe. email. Email, that is electronic mail, and it is known as email since 1993. It is a method of exchanging digital messages from one sender to other receiver on the internet. There are so many, that is Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail and others. But when in the starting, when this email was introduced, there used to be a kind of rule that suppose I am sending you an mail, then you have to sit there on your laptop or whatever device and you have to receive that email at the same time. I mean, you have to sit there when I'm sending the email. But today, it's not rule anymore. I mean, that kind of rule does not exist because today's email system works on the store and forward model. Email servers accept, forward, deliver and store messages. If I'm sending you an email, then that mail will be in your email account and you can open it at any time that you wish. Okay, that's quite a blessing for us because we don't have to wait for an important email for the whole day. Now, famous emails: Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. Website. A website is a set of related web pages typically served from a single web domain. And yes, you can access to the website with the help of www, World Wide Web. And to open a website, this World Wide Web is important. You just have to type the address in the URL. And yes, there is hyperlinks and navigation as we have seen earlier. Yes, this site, yes. If I want to go in this way, just click on that. From that, I can type and know my status. Then you can go to altogether a different navigation route through Enquiry. Okay, and yes, if you open a particular page of this website, then this is a web page, but this indianrail.gov.in, this is a site. Okay. FTP, that is a file transfer protocol, which is used and it is necessary for exchanging file over the internet. It enables your data transfer, and this FTP is the part of that TCP/IP suite. Now, if you want to download any file from the internet, whether it's an PDF or any Word file or any kind of document, then this FTP works there. And if you want to upload any file on the server, like if you want to upload your photos, pictures on the Facebook, Twitter, then yes, this FTP works there too. The web server. Web servers are the computer that deliver the web pages. The name itself suggests server. It serves the request. The request that is ours. We have requested that we want this website, and HTTP transfers. HTTP sends that request to the web server, and web server gives the response. It serves that request and responses us with the web page or website. This web server has its own IP address because these web servers are nothing but big devices, but its only work is to respond, to attend the request. The way we work on the laptop computers, we have so much work on laptop, but this web server has only one work, that is to attend the request. And yes, this web server has a domain name too. Suppose this is the page of the Facebook that you want to open, then this is the site and this is the page here. Okay, and the domain is the facebook.com. Now we will see which page it is. It is the page of this. In case you don't remember your password, this page will show up. Now, next, web browser. Web browser is a software application used to locate, retrieve and display content on the World Wide Web, including web pages, images, video, multimedia, text and so many other things. It works on the client-server model, as you know. Through this web browsers, you have the access to all the websites and web pages. And the famous web browsers are the Internet Explorer, Mozilla, SeaMonkey, Opera, Chrome, right? But you know, the very first web browser that was introduced was the World Wide Web, not the www that we learned earlier, but this is altogether a different thing, that is World Wide Web. And yes, the difference is that there is no space in this name, but yes, this is a web browser. And that www was a service on the internet. And yes, the latest web browser introduced is the Chrome that you might be using right now. Here. Now you can identify which web browser you are using right now. The search engines. Search engines are the programs that search documents for specific keywords and return a list of documents where the keywords were found. In the search engines, the robots named a spider or an indexer is used. The spider will fetch as many documents as possible. The spider indexer will look for that specific word that you want. It will look all over the web, in all web pages, in all text documents. It will look for that word, and then it will create a stack of all those files or web pages which has the name in it, and then that list is shown as result on your screen. This spider, it crawls over the web. It can start from anywhere. It does not have any specific path that this website starts from the A. So first of all, I will look in that website. No, it does not work that way. It can start from any website, from any web page, from any text document. And yes, as you know, websites has different web pages, and you can go through them with the help of navigation and the hyperlinks. And that way, this spider or the indexer travels from one website to web page to other web pages to other websites, and that way it will search the whole web for you. And the famous search engines are here. The most popular and the famous is Google, then there is Yahoo, Ask, and the others. URL is the Uniform Resource Locator. It is a global address for documents and the other resources on the World Wide Web. You have to type your web address in this URL. By the way, web address and URL are synonyms, okay? So you will type your website's address in this URL, and you will have your website. Suppose you want to open a Facebook, then you will type www.facebook.com. Okay, but in URL, this thing will show up. So what is this? The first part, that is the protocol identifier, and here it is HTTPS. It will be differentiated with the colon and 2/ from the website's name, that is Facebook. This URL usually uses the HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Domain name. Domain names are used to identify one or more IP addresses. You should know that a few websites might have the same domain name. Why is that? Here is example is given, that is of Microsoft.com. It represents so many of IP addresses. Because Microsoft itself is a big corporate giant. It has so many products of it, and each product, it has own website. Okay, so each website has its own web server, so its own IP addresses. So that way, one domain name represents so many IP addresses. And here, if you want to open a Gmail, this is what you will type in URL, and the domain name is the gmail.com. Now, every domain name has a suffix that indicates to which top level domain, TLD, or to which group it belongs. Like For government agencies, there is .gov. For educational institute, there is .edu. .org, that is for non-profit organizations. .mil for military, specifically US military, United States military. .com for commercial business. .net for network organizations. .ca for Canada. .ca for Canada's websites. .th for Thailand's websites, and .en for Indian websites. Now some examples. Okay. First of all, Google, that is .in. I mean, you can see that is Google India, obviously .in. Facebook.com. Twitter, again .com. That is .mil. That is the United States Army. Now .in. That is the Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs. Here, the Indian Rails. .gov.in, which indicates it's the Indian government's website. That's it.